Hello, this is Jim from Cash Flow is Contagious. It's been a while, too long to be exact, and I want to tell you what happened. Two things hit me, one after the other. First, the platform changed the rules. Content I had originally built and posted here, content I was proud of, got flagged as reused material. Someone with deeper pockets had repackaged the same public domain recordings, added commentary, and suddenly I was the one who had to back off. The channel I had spent years building went quiet overnight. And then, not long after, my health crashed. I was diagnosed with a serious heart condition. The doctors sat me down and told me to go home and get my affairs in order. They gave me a vest to wear 24 hours a day, a defibrillator, in case I flatlined. I went home, but I didn't get my affairs in order the way they meant. I started doing Tai Chi. I watched what I ate. I was faithful with my medication. I got quiet, and I got serious. And years later, I'm still here. You hear it in my voice. I'm still here. And while I was recovering, really sitting still for the first time in years, I started asking different questions. Not the questions you ask when everything is moving, the quieter ones. The ones you've been avoiding. For years on this channel, I explored one idea, that right thinking produces right results. That if you aligned your mind correctly, prosperity would follow. I still believe there's truth in that. But I was missing something, because I've seen people with the right mindset who still couldn't hold wealth. And I've seen people who never dug a ditch in their life build lasting prosperity almost effortlessly. The difference wasn't effort. It was identity. The only real work is the work of becoming. Everything else follows from that. While I was recovering, I came across an ancient text, the Gospel of Thomas. You may have heard of it. It isn't written like the traditional Gospels. No miracles, no narrative, just sayings. Quiet, compressed, difficult sayings that sit in your mind long after you read them. And one impression stayed with me above all others. Thomas didn't say it directly, but this is what I understood. You cannot pursue the kingdom while your house is on fire. Not because the spiritual life doesn't matter, it matters more than anything, but because a distracted mind cannot go deep. A man fighting for survival every month cannot think clearly about identity, cannot build, cannot transmit. When your health is failing and your finances are unstable, your entire mind becomes occupied with one thing, getting through the day. And spiritual pursuit in that condition, no matter how sincere, can quietly become something else. An escape. A hope that something outside yourself will fix what only you can fix. That was my old error. I believed that right thinking would manifest right results. That if my mind was aligned, wealth would follow. And I'm not saying that's entirely wrong, but I was missing the foundation beneath it. Because you cannot think your way into prosperity from a life that has no order. Wealth doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to identity. It responds to the kind of person you are becoming. The way you organize your days, the way you think about discipline and structure, the way you respond when no one is watching. In other words, wealth follows identity. If ideas like this interest you, you may want to subscribe. This channel explores the deeper architecture behind wealth and identity. Not quick money tricks, but the patterns of thinking and living that quietly create prosperity over time. If that kind of conversation interests you, consider subscribing. Now let's continue. So I stopped asking, how do I attract money? And I started asking a different question entirely. What kind of person builds wealth? Not occasionally, not by accident, but consistently over time. That question became the foundation of everything I've been working on, including a book I wrote called The Millionaire Identity. It isn't really a book about money. It's about the internal architecture that makes prosperity possible. The patterns, the habits, the way a person thinks and organizes their life that causes wealth to follow naturally. Because wealth doesn't appear out of nowhere. It emerges from identity. And once that identity is in place, prosperity becomes far more predictable. So that's what this channel is now. Not a library of other people's wisdom, my own. We're going to explore the intersection of three things: identity, wealth, and the deeper questions of life, because building a prosperous life and pursuing a meaningful one are not opposites. They never were. They were always two expressions of the same thing: order, discipline, becoming. And in many ways, cash flow really is contagious. When one person changes the way they think about wealth and identity, that understanding spreads. That's what this channel has always been about. And that's why I came back. If you've been here before, welcome home. If you're new here, welcome to Cash Flow is Contagious.